Hi, I'm Journey. Most days I handle the morning rush like a champion. Breakfast, lunch packing, backpack check, and getting my 8-year-old son Tyler to school before racing to my job as a paralegal. Last Tuesday, though, in the chaos of an alarm that didn't go off, I forgot to pack Tyler's lunch. Mom, I'm home! Tyler called that afternoon, his voice lacking its usual enthusiasm. Hey, buddy, in the kitchen, I replied, working from home that day. How was school? Tyler dropped his backpack by the table and stared at his shoes. Fine. Just fine? What happened in science class today? Wasn't that volcano experiment today? We did it. It was okay. I put my laptop aside, noticing his hunched shoulders. Tyler, look at me. Did something happen? I forgot my lunch, he mumbled. Oh, honey, I'm sorry. That was my fault. Did the office call me? I didn't get any messages. No. Miss Walters said I should have remembered. What? Didn't they give you a school lunch? Tyler's bottom lip trembled. Miss Walters said there weren't extras. She said if I was really hungry, I could find my breakfast waffle in the trash. Excuse me? I felt my chest tighten. She told you to do what? She made me dig through the garbage can to find my waffle from breakfast, in front of everyone. His voice cracked. Mason and Liam kept laughing and calling me trash boy at recess. I knelt down, struggling to control my voice. You had to put your hands in the garbage? The classroom garbage can? Yeah, it had banana peels and tissues and stuff. Tears filled his eyes. She stood there watching, said it would teach me responsibility. And did you eat it? I asked, feeling sick. No, but everyone saw. Aaliyah told me not to, but Miss Walters said I was wasting food then. I just sat at my desk during lunch. My paralegal training barely contained my fury. Tyler, listen to me. What Miss Walters did was wrong. Completely wrong. No teacher should ever make a student dig through trash. She said it was my fault for being irresponsible. No, baby. I forgot your lunch. And even if you forgot it, that's not how adults should teach responsibility. Are you mad at me? He asked quietly. Not at all. I'm upset with Miss Walters. Did any other adults see this happen? Miss Rodriguez came in to borrow markers. She looked weird about it, but she didn't say anything. Miss Rodriguez? Sophia's mom who volunteers? Tyler nodded. She just got all quiet and left really fast. I pulled out my phone. I'm calling her right now. Then we're talking to Principal Davis. Mom, please don't make it worse, Tyler begged. Everyone will know I told. Tyler, what happened wasn't okay. It was unhealthy and humiliating. No child should be treated that way. I promise you, making you dig through garbage isn't in any teacher handbook. But Miss Walters will hate me. Listen to me, I said, my voice gentle but firm. Part of my job is standing up when something wrong happens, and I need to teach you that too. This isn't about getting someone in trouble. It's about making sure all kids are treated with dignity. Tyler stared at me before nodding slowly. Okay. Good. Now let's call Miss Rodriguez and see what she saw. Then we're scheduling a meeting with Principal Davis first thing tomorrow. Thank you for meeting me, Clara, I said as Clara Rodriguez slid into the booth at the coffee shop. I appreciate you coming before work. Of course, Journey. After what Tyler told you. Clara shook her head, her bracelets jingling. I should have said something right then. Can you tell me exactly what you saw? Clara stirred her coffee vigorously. I walked in to borrow markers for the bulletin board. Tyler was standing by the trash can while Miss Walters stood over him, saying, If you're so hungry, your waffle from breakfast is right there. He was hesitating, and she said, Well, isn't this worth missing your schoolwork? And the other children? Watching, some laughing. A few looked uncomfortable. She leaned forward. Journey, I froze. I've volunteered in that classroom for months, and I've seen Miss Walters be strict, but never. This was different. Did you report it? Clara's eyes dropped. No, I told myself it wasn't my place. That's on me. Would you be willing to come to my meeting with Principal Davis this afternoon? Having another adult witness would help? Absolutely. That woman has no business teaching if this is how she handles children. My phone buzzed. An email from Principal Davis confirming our 3 o'clock meeting. Have you noticed any other concerning behavior from Miss Walters? Clara hesitated. She plays favorites. The well-behaved kids with involved parents get praise. The others get comments. Nothing this extreme before, but there's a pattern. Has Sophia ever mentioned anything? No, but Sophia's one of her favorites. Good grades, never forgets homework. Clara's expression hardened. But that's exactly the problem, isn't it? Different standards for different children. After leaving Clara, I drove straight to Oak Ridge Elementary for my scheduled meeting with Miss Walters before seeing the principal. Mrs. Mitchell. Miss Walters greeted me with a tight smile, her posture rigid behind her desk. I understand you have concerns about yesterday's lunch incident. Incident? I repeated, settling into the small chair. Is that what you call making my son dig through garbage? I believe in natural consequences, Mrs. Mitchell. Tyler forgot his lunch. No, I forgot his lunch. I'm his mother. I overslept. Well, regardless, children need to learn responsibility. If Tyler had reminded you— Miss Walters, I interrupted, maintaining my composure. Are you suggesting an 8-year-old should be punished with public humiliation and potential health risks because of a parent's mistake? I would hardly call it humiliation, she scoffed. And the waffle was wrapped in his napkin. Did you check with the office about emergency lunch options? Call me? Send a note home about remembering lunches? Mrs. Mitchell, I have 26 students. I can't coddle them through every— Is making children search through garbage part of the school's disciplinary policy? Miss Walters' cheeks reddened. I've been teaching for 15 years. Sometimes children need memorable lessons. Oh, it was memorable all right. Tyler came home calling himself Trash Boy. Children can be dramatic. I leaned forward. Miss Walters, I'd like to understand your thinking here. If your goal was teaching responsibility, how exactly does public humiliation accomplish that? Sometimes children need to experience consequences to learn. And if I went to Principal Davis right now and said you suggested this teaching method, would he support it? Her expression wavered. You're blowing this out of proportion. Am I? Because I have another parent who witnessed it, and she didn't seem to think it was normal either. Miss Walters' eyes narrowed. Who? We'll discuss that with Principal Davis. I'm trying to understand if you recognize that what you did crossed a line. Mrs. Mitchell, I've had Tyler for 8 months. This is the first complaint. Perhaps instead of questioning my methods, you might consider your own parenting. Children who come prepared don't face these issues. I stood, gathering my purse. Thank you for clarifying your position, Miss Walters. I'll see you at 3 in Principal Davis's office. Principal Davis's office felt smaller with 5 adults crammed inside. His mahogany desk created a barrier between us, myself and Clara on one side, Miss Walters on the other, and Vice Principal Tomlin taking notes in the corner. I appreciate everyone coming together to discuss this matter, Principal Davis began, his baritone practiced and neutral. Mrs. Mitchell, you've raised serious concerns about an incident in Miss Walters' classroom. Yes, I replied, opening my folder. Yesterday, my son Tyler was instructed by Miss Walters to retrieve his breakfast waffle from the classroom trash can when he didn't have lunch. He was made to physically search through garbage containing used tissues and food waste while classmates watched. Principal Davis turned to Miss Walters. Is this accurate? It's being dramatically mischaracterized, Miss Walters replied, smoothing her cardigan. Tyler forgot his lunch and was complaining of hunger. I simply reminded him that he had thrown away a perfectly good waffle at breakfast. It was a teaching moment about waste and responsibility. Did you instruct him to remove food from the garbage? Davis pressed. I suggested it was an option if he was truly hungry, she answered with a dismissive wave. Children are resilient. Sometimes they need to face consequences. Clara leaned forward. Principal Davis, I witnessed this. Miss Walters stood over Tyler while he reluctantly dug through the trash can. Other students were watching and laughing. It was humiliating for him. Mrs. Rodriguez, I didn't realize you were present, Miss Walters said, her tone sharpening. I was collecting supplies for the bulletin board. I should have intervened, but honestly, I was so shocked I didn't know how to respond. Vice Principal Tomlin looked up from her notes. Were any other options explored? Calling the parent or providing an emergency lunch? There weren't emergency lunches available, Miss Walters stated. I pulled out a printout. I spoke with Miss Jenkins in the cafeteria this morning. She confirmed they always have at least 5 emergency lunches daily for exactly these situations. All teachers are aware of this policy. Principal Davis frowned. Miss Walters? Those are for true emergencies, she replied stiffly. And what constitutes a true emergency in your view? I asked. Because a child without lunch seems pretty straightforward. Mrs. Mitchell, with all due respect, this is one incident being blown out of proportion. Tyler needed to learn to eat from the garbage, I interrupted, my voice rising despite my efforts. What exactly was that lesson supposed to teach him? Responsibility, Miss Walters snapped. Something many children today sorely lack. By humiliating him, by risking his health, by giving him a nickname he'll carry for who knows how long. Principal Davis raised his hands. Let's keep this productive. Miss Walters, the district has clear protocols for forgotten lunches that don't involve students retrieving discarded food from trash receptacles. This raises both dignity and health concerns. The waffle was in a napkin, Miss Walters insisted. And perhaps if Mrs. Mitchell spent more time ensuring her son was prepared for school. Excuse me? I cut in. Are you suggesting this is my fault? If the shoe fits. Principal Davis looked alarmed. Miss Walters, that's inappropriate. No, let's be honest here, she continued, color rising in her cheeks. Parents want teachers to raise their children but criticize our methods. I've been teaching longer than you've been a principal, Davis. Children today are coddled, and then we wonder why they can't function as adults. Making a child dig through garbage isn't teaching, Clara said. It's bullying. Oh, please, Miss Walters scoffed. When I started teaching, we had real discipline. Now everyone gets a trophy and parents complain if their precious babies face any consequences. I maintained eye contact with Principal Davis. Is this the position of Oak Ridge Elementary? That public humiliation is an acceptable disciplinary measure? Absolutely not, he replied firmly. Miss Walters, your characterization of this situation and your comments today are concerning. Fine, Miss Walters said, standing abruptly. I apologize if Tyler felt embarrassed. That wasn't my intention. I was trying to teach a valuable lesson about preparation and consequences. I don't accept that apology, I stated clearly. You're apologizing for how Tyler felt, not for what you did. And your comments today show you don't actually believe you did anything wrong. What do you want from me? She demanded. Should I grovel because a child had to learn a hard lesson? Principal Davis stood. That's enough, Miss Walters. Please wait in the front office. Mrs. Tomlin, would you escort her? After they left, Principal Davis sighed heavily. Mrs. Mitchell, Mrs. Rodriguez, I want to apologize for what occurred. This is not how Oak Ridge staff are trained to handle these situations. I assure you this will be addressed appropriately. How exactly? I asked. Because from what I just witnessed, Miss Walters believes she was justified. I can't discuss personnel matters specifically, but I take this very seriously. There will be consequences. With all due respect, Principal Davis, I need more than vague assurances. My son is still in her classroom, now terrified of forgetting anything. I understand. For now, would you consider allowing Tyler to join Mrs. Henderson's class for the remainder of the year? I shook my head. That punishes Tyler, not Miss Walters. He loses his friends and routine while she continues teaching. I'll be taking this to the superintendent and school board if necessary. His expression tightened. That's your right, of course. It is, I agreed, gathering my things. And I'll be exercising it. The board has reviewed the incident report, witness statements, and Miss Walters' personnel file, Superintendent Harris announced, her steel gray bob framing a no-nonsense expression. We've also consulted with the district's legal counsel. 2 weeks had passed since our meeting with Principal Davis. We now sat in the district conference room, myself, Principal Davis, 2 school board members, and the superintendent. And? I prompted. Miss Walters has been placed on administrative leave pending a formal review. This incident, combined with previous complaints in her file, indicates a pattern of concerning behavior. Previous complaints? I asked, surprised. Principal Davis indicated this was isolated. Board member Thompson cleared his throat. We found 3 formal complaints over the past 2 years regarding Miss Walters' disciplinary methods. None as severe as this incident, but concerning nonetheless. Why wasn't this addressed earlier? I asked. Each incident was handled individually, Superintendent Harris explained. Unfortunately, without seeing the pattern across reports, the responses were insufficient. That's on us, and we're revising our complaint review procedures. What happens now? A substitute will finish the year with Tyler's class. Miss Walters will not return to Oak Ridge Elementary. Whether she remains employed by the district will depend on the formal review, but she would need significant professional development before classroom reassignment. And what about the broader issue? How do we ensure this doesn't happen to another child? Superintendent Harris nodded. We're implementing mandatory training for all staff on appropriate responses to forgotten lunches, dignity-preserving disciplinary measures, and recognizing humiliation as an unacceptable teaching tool. We're also adding specific language to our staff handbook prohibiting such methods. Additionally, Thompson added, we're establishing a parent advisory committee to review disciplinary policies. We'd appreciate your participation, Mrs. Mitchell, given your advocacy and legal background. I'd be happy to serve, I replied. But what about Tyler? He's still dealing with social fallout. Principal Davis? Harris prompted. Davis leaned forward. We've implemented a structured response. Our school counselor is conducting classroom discussions about respect and kindness without singling out Tyler. We've also addressed the nickname issue directly with the students involved and their parents. And if any child forgets their lunch? I pressed. We've restocked and prominently displayed our emergency lunch supply. Every teacher has received written reminder of the protocol, Davis assured me. No child will go hungry or be humiliated for a forgotten lunch. A week later, Tyler bounded into the kitchen after school. Mom, guess what? Mr. Bennett let us design our own science experiments today. Mine was the coolest. I made a battery from lemons. I smiled, seeing his enthusiasm return. That sounds amazing. Tell me everything. After dinner, while Tyler finished homework, Clara called. How's he doing? She asked. Better. The new teacher has made a huge difference. I heard Miss Walters resigned rather than complete the improvement plan, Clara said. Word is she's leaving teaching altogether. I can't say I'm sorry to hear that, I admitted. Some people shouldn't be in classrooms. The parent advisory committee starts next week, right? I volunteered too. Perfect. We need voices like yours. After hanging up, I joined Tyler in the living room. Homework finished? Yep. He closed his notebook. Mom, can I ask you something? Anything, buddy. Are you still mad about what happened? I considered my answer carefully. I'm not angry anymore, but I am still determined. What happened to you shouldn't happen to any child. Sometimes standing up for what's right takes time and effort, even after the initial problem is solved. Like making sure all the teachers know about emergency lunches? Exactly. I smiled. You know, I'm really proud of how brave you've been. I didn't feel brave. Being brave isn't about not being scared. It's about doing what's right even when you are scared. You told me the truth, even though you were worried about making things worse. He considered this. So you were brave too? When you talked to the principal and the superintendent? I tried to be. Sometimes adults need reminders about doing the right thing too. Mr. Bennett says mistakes are how we learn, Tyler offered. But he also says humiliating people isn't teaching. It's just being mean. Tyler grinned. And guess what? No one's called me that nickname all week. As Tyler headed upstairs for his shower, I reflected on our journey. The system had ultimately worked, but only because we'd pushed it to. One question lingered. How many children never tell their parents when something is wrong? My phone buzzed with an email, the agenda for next week's first Parent Advisory Committee meeting. I added a new item, anonymous reporting system for students. Some fights are worth every minute of effort, and this one was just beginning.